Hey, fourth grade, welcome to our very first math lesson from home. I'm in my guest bedroom. Marley is sleeping on the bed, watching over me. And I have behind me an easel that Bryce built me so I can teach you on our whiteboard here. Not really a whiteboard. Anyhow, the notes that we're taking now, I took pictures of them that I've uploaded to the Coon Chronicles for you guys. So this is just like in math when I'm doing notes under the dot cam and you're copying them down. What you can do are a couple of things. You can find the picture on Coon Chronicles, copy it down in your notebook or print it out if you want, and then fill in as we go together here. Or you can watch me go through the lesson, pause, fill things in. You've got some options, okay? So do what works best for you. I think we're going to be doing a lot of pausing so you guys can kind of catch up with me. I know sometimes you guys feel like I go fast, so this is a perfect opportunity for you to take your time. Slow down, pause when you need to so you can copy things down. Okay, so the title of our notes is Fraction and Decimal Review. Okay, we've talked a lot about fractions, we've talked a lot about decimals. They are all numbers that are parts of numbers. They're less than 1. We are going to get into some mixed numbers and some decimals over 1, but know that a fraction is a piece or a part of a number. So is a decimal. Let's get started with talking about place value, okay? You'll see that I have 3 place values here with the decimal point, this dot, we call it a dot in the middle or a decimal, okay? To the left of the decimal point is going to be any number greater than 1, okay? This is our ones place here. Then we have our decimal point. After the decimal point, to the right of the decimal point is less than 1. It is a piece of a number. These are our decimals and our fractions. The first one over from the decimal point is called the tenths place. Remember, we have to add that th to the end to make it a tenth. We can also call it 1/10 fraction form. Then we have the hundredths. Remember, it goes tenths, hundredths, thousandths, etc., etc. That th at the end is telling us that it is a fraction or a decimal part of a number. We could also call that 1/100th. So I want us to practice saying this properly. So I'm going to write a number into my place value here. Let's say I have 2, and then in the ones place I put a 2, okay? In the tenths place, let's put a 1, and in the hundredths place, let's put a 4, okay? So, I have 2 holes here, and then I see that I have a 1 in the tenths place and a 4 in the hundredths place. Now, that tells me this is going to be 14 hundredths, okay? 2 and 14 hundredths. Remember, we say and here. We can say and in decimals and fractions when we're talking about numbers. So this is 2 and 14 hundredths, or you could also say it decimal form 2 and 2.14. Not 2.14, 2.14. But we know, I just said it, this is the same as a big 2 and 14 hundredths, okay? These are the same number. One is written as a decimal, one is written as a fraction, but they are equivalent, okay? Here's a learning target to talk about, and you'll see why I did that. I will be able to convert decimals to fractions. This is actually a mixed number, right? Because it has a whole number and a fraction. To show my understanding that they are equal, just in different forms. Remember, they're the same. They're equal to one another, you guys. Okay, so we're going from decimals to fractions. We're actually mixed numbers, right? Because a mixed number has a whole number and a fraction. You guys know this. We've talked about this so much. So here are 4 examples that I'm going to do with you. This is kind of like the we do together, and then we have some more practice problems down below. Here we go. The first number that I see is 1.14. Ooh, very similar to the one we have up here. So I see there's a whole number here. So I know I'm going to have a big 1. And then just like we wrote here, it's 14 hundredths, okay? 14 hundredths. That's the fraction part of this mixed number. 1 and 14 hundredths. Next up, I have 9.70. So I'm noticing here that there is a 0 in the hundredths place. Remember, here's the hundredths place. Same, okay? Because there is a 0 there, I don't need to go to the hundredths to write my mixed number. Okay, I can actually just write in the tenths. I'm going to show you two different ways you could do this one. Our whole number is always going to stay 9. We have a 7 in the tenths place. So this could be 9 and 7/10, or 9 and 7/100. Both work. They're all the same. That's what's really cool. This is equal to this is equal to this. They are all equal. Okay. Next one, 3.03. Well, there's a 0 in the tenths place, but there is a number in the hundredths place. So here's how I can write this. 3 is my whole number. My fraction is going to be in the hundredths place. You can see it right here. I have a 3 there, so I have 3 and 3/100ths. Okay. Last one, 7.20. Oh, this is kind of like up here. Actually, it's exactly like that. There's a 0 in that hundredths place. So here's how we write it as a mixed number. 7 is my whole number and 2/10, and what's the other way that we could write it? Let's think about that for a second. Pause if you want to. Okay, we could also write this as 7 and 20/100ths. Remember, they are all equal. Equivalent is the word that we use. Okay. Here's a point where you're going to do some work on your own, okay? There are 4 practice problems. You see them right here. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 2 different ways. It's kind of like going back and forth. The first 2 are going, just like we practiced, from a decimal to a mixed number. Here we have our mixed numbers. You need to write in the decimal, okay? So take a second to copy these down. Pause your video. Do your answers. Then when you're ready, press play. And I will give you those answers, okay? All right, I hope that you did your own work on the problems. Put your answers down. Now it's time for you to check them, okay? Unpause it. I'm gonna use pink because it's more fun. Okay. Smells good. Number 1, 2.58. Another way we could say that is 2 and 58 hundredths. Hundredths. You should have gotten a big old 2. 58 over 100. Smarty parties. Smarty pansies. Okay, next one. Number 2 is 1 and 4/100ths, or 1.04. Okay, it's kind of like this one up here. Our whole number is a 1. Our fraction, part of that mixed number, is going to be 4/100ths. 1 and 4/100ths. Check yourself, you got them right? Give yourself a nice little pat on the back. Okay, now we're kind of switching it around here. It's going the opposite way. We have the mixed number and we're going to the decimal, but we can do this. Number 3 is 6 and 54/100ths is my mixed number. Well, I know my whole number is going to be a 6, so here it goes. I'm going to the hundredths place. Guess what? Fill in that 54. 6 and 54/100ths. If you got that correct, give yourself a pat on the back. Last practice problem here is 4 and 6/10. Now, you may be tempted to just write 4.6, but if I'm looking here, I have enough room to write in a value in my hundredths place. So that means I'm going to put my big old 4 here. That's my whole number. My 6 is going to go in the tenths place. And guess what goes in the hundredths place, friends? You guessed it. A big old goose egg 0, okay? It's 4.60, 4 and 6/10, or 4 and 60/100ths. Remember, they're all equivalent. You got it, guys. All right, I'm gonna pause for a second so that I can actually flip over my chart for more notes. See you in just a second, guys.